That number is there on there. Okay. What we discussed last time, another numbers. Then go on to appreciating others. I was discussing from third canto, 29th chapter, in which text we discussed. Third canto, 29th chapter. Only one word. Only one word. 21. 20. 21. यथा यथा रोग्राय. This one. No. 21 we covered mostly, right? Where one worships the deity, but he does not see living entity in connection with the Lord, then his deity worship is simply meditation, right? We discussed last time. So we were discussing from Madhurya Kadamni. We discussed about Sadhu Shraddha, then we discussed Sadhu Sangha, then we started discussing Bhajan Kriya. And in Bhajan Kriya, we discussed about Anishta Bhajan Kriya. Then we started discussing Anartha Nivriti. And in Anartha Nivriti, we discussed about Sukrututta Anartha, Duskritutta Anartha. Then we started our discussion on Aparadha. Then we started speaking about various aspects that how these aparadhas they happen and how we can protect ourselves from these aparadhas. So in the same series, we came to this particular section from Lord Kapila, where Lord Kapila talks about that how we have to respect what to say of devotees, even every living entity. So one of the reason why we offend someone or why offensive happens, one of the reason is when we lack respect for them. And that's why we see Vedic culture was centered around this most important principle of respect. And we can see in our heart also, the moment we have a lack of respect for someone, that gradually takes us to offenses. In Ramayana, we see that why Dudha Gurula later on got bad association of Banashura. One of the reasons was he lacked respect for Lakshmana. He did not offend Lakshmana. He did not do anything to Lakshmana. But in his heart, he lacked respect for Lakshmana. And because of that, he developed some offensive mentality towards Lakshmana. Now, because it was a Treta Yuga, so even the offenses in the mind, they were considered. And because of his offenses, he took bad association. And then same to the gorilla who took part from the side of Lord Ram became a demon and then had to be killed by Lord. So we see that how when we have lack of respect, then offense happens, and then because of offense, either we develop more material desires, or we get bad association, or we lose taste for devotional service. And then we are not able to make progress in our spiritual life. So this is of very most important aspect in spiritual life. And that is the reason before this section, Lord Kapila speaks about Sudha Bhakti to Mother Devoti. Lord Kapila talks about Nirguna Bhakti to Mother Devoti. And after talking about Nirguna Bhakti, the very first principle he talks about for a devotee is this element of respecting living entities. That okay, if you want to come out of fold of devotional service, then one aspect one has to be very careful of is to very see that how living entities are part and parcel of Lord and how they should be respected. We see how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says that if anyone wants to be a sadhu, then he has to take one vow in this life that I will never offend anyone. So this is very important. That's why in the scriptures we find time and again these aspects are mentioned. So we discussed before also that sometimes because of our pride we may offend. Sometimes because of too much sukha we get distracted, or because of dukkha we become disturbed. And now we are discussing on this very important aspect, that how it all starts. It all starts with lacking respect. And that's why Vedic culture is centered around the principle of giving respect. Now also in many families, cultured families, you'll find the children, they get up in the morning, then they will pay obeisances to the parents. They will touch the feet of the parents. In a cultured family, whenever they take their family to the temple, the father will tell the child, "Beta poda." Although the child does not know who is there in the order, but the principle of respect was so much embedded in our structure. Even to this extent, we see the scriptures, even if superior is doing something wrong, still the subordinate was advised to respect that superior. We don't see in Vedic culture somebody criticizing superior, although he may have seemed to do wrong. You see when Dhritarashtra was doing so much, but we never hear Yudhishthira Maharaj speaking a single word against Dhritarashtra. In fact, after the whole war, in one way, Dhritarashtra was the main person because of which this war took place. If he wanted, he could have stopped. But then somehow it happened and so many people got killed. And Yudhishthira Maharaj again placed Dhritarashtra on the throne. Means, imagine means what level of respect was there in the Vedic culture. Dasarath Maharaj, in one way, wrongly wanted to send Lord Ram and Lakshman to the forest, being attached to KP. But we never see Lord Ram seeing in that way. He is God, who more better knows justice than him. But we never see Lord Ram seeing Dasarath in this way, that because you are attached, you did this blunder. We never see like that. In fact, when Lakshman tells to Lord Ram that Bhaiya, father has become blinded by lust, and we should not hear such a thing. In fact, we should raise a war against him and kill him. At that time, Lord Ram says, Lakshman, why are you speaking like this? We are not supposed to speak like this. Don't you understand the divine will of the Lord? And we all are just instruments in the divine will of the Lord. And this is the order of my father. And Lord Ram says, for me, when I was told to be the king, and when now I am being told to go to the forest, both are same, because in both conditions I am fulfilling the order of my father. So you see, he was not seeing post separate from the instruction of his father. Same way we see Bhishma when he comes to know about his father Santanu, who was attached and he wanted to marry. Whom he wanted to marry? Satyavati, no? For whom the Bhishma took a vow that I will not marry. Okay. So Santanu wanted to marry, and it was not that he did not had a wife. He already had a wife, but then he became attracted to another lady. And then the father of Satyavati was very concerned that the son of this lady will not become a king, because in the Vedic time the elder would become a king. So when this was known to Bhishma, he took a vow that I will not marry, so that his father can marry, so that his father can be married. Can you imagine? Means in one way, if something like this happens now, which son will do like this? It is not that son will say, बहुत हो गया अभी 80 साल की उम्र में दोबारा शादी करना है छठे आ गया बुढ़िया isn't it? Very difficult. But we see Vedic culture is like that. Even we see in the life of Yadu, in one way, Yati Maharaj, he became very attached to Devyani, and then he had association with Sarmishta also. And then we see when the report went to Sukracharya, he curses him to become old. And Yati Maharaj is crying, I have not yet fulfilled my lusty desires, and why you have cursed me to become old? Then Sukracharya says, if you want, you can exchange your old age to any of your son. And then he's approaching his son. So first he approaches Yadu. And Yadu, he said, no, that it will be difficult for me. Why? Because he thought later on Krishna will come. So as a service, I cannot take this. So that is why nothing happened to him. But between three sons, they said, no, Papa, क्या है? हमको भी तो enjoy करना है. We will not exchange our youth with your old age. And then the last son, Puru, he said, yes, my dear father, if this is your desire, then I will exchange. So nothing happened to Yadu because he declined the father's request for higher purpose to serve Krishna. And Puru was rewarded by his father afterwards when he understood his mistake. And then he comes to Puru and he gives him his youth back and hands over all the kingdom also to this last son. But between three, because they disobeyed the order of father, so their decline happens. So in one may say, what kind of order is this? Father has become mad, and how can a subordinate follow this? But Vedic culture is like that. It is based on extreme respect. Now, someone may say that, but then we see some things are not as per, justice framework. There are certain things which appears to be adharmic. Then how in that situation also one can follow? So Vedic culture is that you try your best in all the situation to respect your superiors, to respect your authorities. And it is important. And understand everything is happening by the will of the Lord. And all the people, for whatever they are doing, they will get their result by the supreme will of the Lord. But we as a person, I as an individual, if I follow my dharma, then I will be rewarded for that aspect. I don't have to worry about, oh, he is doing injustice, oh, he is adharmic, oh, he is that. They will be taken care by the Lord. But I have to see what is my dharma. And our dharma is in all situations we respect. When Vidurji in Vidur Niti, he speaks very nice. He says, whichever place you go, you get five things, no matter where you go. He says, one thing is you will get some people who will become your friends. Then he says, you will get some people who will become your enemies. You will get some people who will become neutral. For them, it does not matter whether you exist or you don't exist. And you will get some place where you can stay. And he says, last thing, you will get some people who will depend upon you, who will take your shelter. So why? Because our prarabdha is there. No matter which place you go, you will find some people will become your friends. And some people will not be happy with you. Some people will see you as, why did he came? Right? Why is he here? So it always happens like that. So then he says, so what we should do? So he says, the principle of the scripture is one can exhaust his good karma by enjoying it, and one can exhaust his bad karma by not complaining. So if something happens in our life, some good things are coming in our life, then no, it is your good karma because of these things are coming. And as a devotee, we engage them in the service of the Lord. And when some bad things are coming, don't complain, knowing that it is my own, rather I have to accept. So don't think that just because my father is like that, that's why this situation has come in my life, or my this authority is like this, that's why this situation has come in my life. We have to see what is my dharma, and we don't have to judge others. So this principle of respect we see to such an extent it is mentioned in the scriptures like that. Why? Because it is so important for us. It is so important for an individual to respect. Why? Because whatever is happening ultimately is the plan of the Lord. If you don't respect, the people who are becoming instrument in the plan of the Lord, or if you don't respect the plan of the Lord, then how will you become Krishna conscious? Even you will find the great devotees like Narada Muni, when Hiranyakashipu became so powerful, Narada Muni himself says that I was also serving under him. Because he had subordinated all the demigods. When Narada Muni is a pure devotee, he can also feel, Hare Krishna, kya karwa rahe ho? How can a dharmic person is ruling over pure devotees? Narada Muni knows this is Kala Chakra. Currently, his good times is going on just late. And that's why you find Narada Muni never takes enmity with anyone. He knows as a soul they are pure. Just because of conditioning, they are doing certain things. And for that, I don't have to worry, Krishna is there. And that's why you find Narada Muni is a character who is loved even by the demons. Because he does not take, he sees people as a soul, like that. So Krishna, this verse we discussed last time, that how those who are devotees, they have to see that how every living entity is a soul, part and parcel of Krishna. And when to the extent we have this understanding, along with understanding Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then our worship is more pleasing to Krishna. That's what was mentioned in the last verse. If we are neglectful, if we are disrespectful, if we are not able to see living entities in connection with the Lord, then our worship is not pleasing to Krishna. And one of the signs of growing more deeper in one's consciousness and devotion is how we are able to see Krishna's presence in all other living entities. And when we understand that how Krishna and living entities are so closely connected to each other. So this is a very important aspect. So now we'll continue the text number 22. यो मां सर्वेषु भूतेषु शान्तमात्मानमीश्वरं धित्वा च भजते मोध्यात् भस्मनि एव जुहोति स. One who worships the deity of Godhead in the temple but does not know the Lord as Paramatma is situated in everyone's heart. He is in ignorance and he is offering his oblations into ashes. See? If somebody is worshipping the Lord, but he does not understand the same Lord is present in the heart of all the jivas, then his worship is of no use. He is offering oblations, but that is like putting into the ashes, like that. That means how important it is to understand this connection between the jiva and the Supreme Lord, like that. And when somebody understands this, and then accordingly is respectful towards the jiva, is accordingly in the mood of service to the jivas, and is worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then that worship is very pleasing to Krishna. In the scriptures, you'll find even such examples where somebody is deeply meditating on the Supreme Lord, but he neglected some jiva. Like you see, Indradumna Maharaj, he is deeply meditating, but then neglected Agastya Rishi. And what happened to him? He became elephant. Agastya Rishi cursed him. Like this. Because you cannot show that I am deeply devotional to God, I am deeply absorbed in God. At the same time, I am neglectful for the jivas. So our Acharya explained that Agastya Rishi, why did he curse Indradumna Maharaj? Because in one way, he was having his eyes closed and was in meditation. So why he cursed? Because Agastya Rishi, he could observe this mentality in Indradumna Maharaj. And what was the mentality? The mentality was not that he would criticize other people. The mentality was he would try to avoid giving respect to others. That was the mentality which was absorbed by Agastya Rishi. Like suppose sometime we are in a temple hall and chanting, and suppose some senior devotee has just now come from station, he took bath, and during chanting time, suppose he enters temple hall. So one thing is you are chanting, and with your closed eye, and with your open eyes, you happen to see. So one thing is you pay obeisances there only. Another thing is you see him coming, when you close your eyes, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So while you were closing eyes, you think, अरे अभी इसको भी senses play करना पड़ेगा. So this thing was observed by Augustine, that he wants to avoid giving respect. And because of which he was cursed to become elephant. Like that. And we all can see there are some tendencies like this in us. Sometimes we feel it's okay, like that. And it happens to such an extent also. Sometimes devotees are going through one way, and from a distance they see some new devotee and they feel, oh, obeisance पे करना पड़ेगा. They change the way. Like that. So we all are following Indra Maharaj. All will become elephants. So Agastya Rishi saw that mentality like that. And that's why you see Vedic culture so much. Sometimes outside people, when they see Vedic culture, they feel, बाप रे क्या है ये? अब देखो वैदिक कल्चर में कोई सन्यासी आएगा तो कितना रिस्पेक्ट मिलता है उसको. उनके पैर धोए जा रहे हैं, पानी पिया जा रहा है, कीर्तन से वेलकम किया जा रहा है, फूल बरसाए जा रहे हैं. Like that. Well, that is the culture that he has taken sannyas for the pleasure of the Lord. Like that. So a lot of respect was given. That was the Vedic culture. So when somebody understands this, then that worship is pleasing to God. Otherwise, that worship is not pleasing to God. Like that. And many times we find in a neophyte stage, we feel, oh, God is great, God is very special, God is pure, God is almighty. And this devotee sleeps in daytime, hardly hears attentively when he chants. So there is a tendency to have, for Kanistha, there is a tendency to have a lot of respect for God, and there is a tendency to undermine the living entities or the devotees of the Lord. But as one advances, then he is able to value that how devotees are also very special. And because of their connection, we are able to serve God. So, but in a Kanistha stage, there is a tendency that one will have a lot of admiration for God. One will have a lot of feeling of that he is so special. But one may not have right understanding about living entities or the devotee of God. So he's saying one who worships the Lord but then fails to respect living entities, his worship is not pleasing to God. Right? And that's why only by the mercy of the spiritual master, only by the mercy of Lord and purification, one can understand this principle and can offer due respect to others, can offer due respect to other living entities. So here it is mentioned that the Supreme Lord is present in all living entities. And we can see that Lord being present in all the living entities shows how much Lord loves each and every living entity. No matter what body a living entity takes, but the Lord is present as a super soul in the heart of the living entity to guide him. So that shows how much the Lord loves that living entity. And if somehow or other we don't give due respect to that living entity, or we happen to hurt that living entity in some way, just imagine how much it will displease the Supreme Lord. In one place it is mentioned that all the living entities, Lord resides in the heart of all the living entities, and all the living entities, they reside in the heart of the Lord. So when you are hurting the living entities, then that is like you are doing heart surgery to the Lord, or you are, giving pain to the heart of the Lord, like that. You may say, but Prabhuji, he is not worthy to be respected. At least his connection to the Lord is enough for him to be given respect. Okay, he may have some conditioning, but he's a part and parcel of God. He is also being accompanied within by the super soul. So we have to know this. In our case, at least we don't have such living entities whom we can't respect. We are surrounded mainly by devotees. And if we have someone who is very difficult for us to handle, then we can keep some distance. But this principle is there. We have to learn this art to respect others. We have to learn this art to see beyond gross coverings and respect others. In living entities, there is a tendency to go more superficial. There is a tendency to see on external level. There's a tendency to see, oh, he's Indian, he's American. There's a tendency to see, oh, he's speaking nicely, he's not speaking nicely. And there's a tendency to see, oh, he belongs to this spiritual master, he belongs to this spiritual master. But these all are external. We have to go beyond and see that how each jiva is a soul, part and parcel of God. And God is reciprocating with every jiva as per his desire. God is making plan for every jiva to ultimately, eventually come back to him like this. So beyond all these superficialities of this world, when we see every living entity as a soul. So in one lecture, Anartha Maharaj was telling that the moment you can see every living entity as a soul, part and parcel of God, you get a reason to love. And the moment you see this connection, then you get a reason to love. And it is fact. Many times we hear about Muslim people who ऐसे हैं पर सरदम से जुदा. So many times we develop a lot of hatred for them. जैसे ही किसी को देखते हैं जिसका मूछ नहीं है दाढ़ी है तो ऐसा लगता है कौन है ये. I was in Agra. We went. There is taken so we went to meet a wealthy person. तो वेल्दी पर्सन बता रहे थे उनकी कई काफी फैक्ट्रीज हैं. बोले तो स्वामी जी एक बात बताइए, जैसे मैं किसी मुल्ला को देखता हूँ वो खो जाता है स्वामी जी. उनकी पत्नी भी बैठी थी. उनकी पत्नी बोली ये तो कार चलाते समय भी अगर देख लेंगे तो गाली देनी चालू कर देते हैं. फिर स्वामी जी से कैसे बचा जाए. So they can also was trying to tell him that how they all are part and parcel of God. So if you can see this connection, then you find a reason to love. And you will find not all of them are bad. Some of them who are radicalized by certain thought process or who are used by a certain community of people, they become like that. Otherwise, you find that there are people in Islam also who are very loving, who are very soft. But what happens is because of certain, certain people in their group who are radicalized or who had some extremist understanding. So we may find some cases like that. But still they are part and parcel of God. Whatever they are, still Krishna is loving them. So we have to see that we can't disrespect. We can't have hatred like that. At the same time, this does not mean that we are not careful. We can be careful. But point is, we have to see this connection of Jiva with the Lord. One of the reasons why Srila Prabhupada was so successful in preaching because of his purity or because of his advancement, he could see beyond external covering that they are soul. Even now also in India, even many sadhus who are considered very great sadhus, but even they, when they see foreign-bodied people, they see they are malicious. It's difficult actually. It's a very great vision to see beyond covering, to see them as soul. In many of their case, it is like that. But when Srila Prabhupada went, he could see them as living entity belonging to the Supreme Lord. Can you imagine Prabhupada going to Africa? Now, if we go to Africa, we'll feel, baapre, kaise loge? Right? Or if you go to West Indies, or if you go to Kenya, you'll find some छोटे छोटे नाटे नाटे एकदम बहुत कलर भी अच्छा नहीं है, फेस भी अच्छा नहीं है, ugly looking. वहाँ के वीडियोस भी आते हैं तो कैसे बच्चे रहते हैं ना, बहुत गरीब भी रहते हैं. But Prabhupada had compassion. He could see them beyond the covering and living entity. And that's why he was very successful. Ravindra Swarup Guru says that before Prabhupada, all the gurus who came to West, they would see themselves as superior and we as inferior. But when Prabhupada came, he saw us with eyes of compassion. he saw that, we are also part and parcel of God. It's a matter of just we taking up to the process of devotional service. So this vision is very pleasing to Krishna, and one who tries to act as per this vision is very pleasing to Krishna. So we have to know this aspect also when we take up the spiritual life. Although people may have certain conditioning, but we should try our best in whatever way we can help living entities to come closer to Krishna. At least we don't increase their suffering. Economist Swami Maharaj was telling in one lecture, when people are shouting at you, when people are angry at you, they are already suffering. And if you react, you are increasing their suffering. If you just tolerate, then it's okay. Krishna is very happy. ठीक है ये लिविंग एंटिटी बेचारा थोड़ा भड़क गया लेकिन इस लिविंग एंटिटी ने संभाल लिया right and Vedic culture was like this. That's why fights would not take place usually because for fight to happen हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना दो ताली की जरूरत है अगर one person is aggressive another person takes humble stand then the fight will not take place. So Vedic culture was like that. And you'll find in Mahabharata also, Pandavas, they tried their best not to have fight like that. In Mahabharata, you'll find that Pandavas, they tried their best if he can avoid. To such an extent that they told Krishna that Krishna, you as a peace messenger. And try our best to not to have a fight. And Krishna was surprised, you want me to try? They said yes. And they said, you ask only 5 villages, we are happy with that. In one way, it is a great compromise. And before that also, when Duryodhan, he told that he does not want to move out. So Pandavas, they suggested, okay, give us a different place. You rule here, we will go in there. And in that also they were cheated because they were given a place which was deserted land, which was difficult to develop. But still Pandavas, they accepted that place and they made it as Indraprastha. But Duryodhana was so mean-minded that he became envious there also. He was so cunning that he was not ready to give 5 villages also. Finally, it came to a point that there was no other option than to have a war. Otherwise, Pandavas did their, last. They wanted that this battle should not happen. Even Krishna wanted this battle should not happen. But Krishna knew that this battle should happen because he has become so mean-minded. So that also is mercy of the Lord on the living entities. See, we can't be aggressive to other living entities. We can't be painful to other living entities because we don't have that compassion. Why it is mentioned a guru can criticize a disciple? Why it is mentioned a guru can find fault in a disciple? Because he has a compassionate heart. With compassion, you can even become aggressive to other living entities. So Krishna killing living entities, Krishna being aggressive to the living entities is not wrong because he has compassion behind what he is doing. So in our case also, whatever we do, it has to be done with understanding that he is a part and parcel of God. And with the understanding, if I can help him, then I should help him. Otherwise, at least I should not hurt him. At least I should not cause problems for him. So the Lord as a super soul is there in all the living entities. Why? Because the living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. And he is a witness. Another confidence or another very nice understanding which can help us is that we should know that Lord is witness and Lord is omnipresent and Lord is omnipotent. So whatever is happening, whatever one is doing, everything is in awareness of the Supreme God. So we should not become too affected that why this has happened, why that has happened. It has happened by the sanction of the Lord. And we have to know that our Lord is making plan for everything. So we should not become too disturbed. So those who don't understand this, they are in ignorance. Somebody just making a show of worship. See, there are 2 categories. There is one category, they say that, what is the use of going in the temple and ringing the bell when there are so many poor people who are hungry? better to go and feed the poor. So this vision also is not good. Why? Because in this vision, he is doing a selfless service out of his false ego. He is not seeing living entities in connection to the Supreme Lord, and he is not seeing himself as a servant of the Supreme Lord. So this is not encouraged in the scriptures. There is another category, they say, oh, I just go to the temple, I worship, he's my master, I am his servant, and help with the world, help with all the living entities. This vision also is not wrong. When you say Supreme Lord, he includes living entities. When you say Krishna, he includes living entities and especially devotees of the Lord. So both visions are extreme. What we have to know is, I am connected to God, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and all the living entities also have a relationship with the God. So like in a family, we are connected to our father also and we are connected to our brothers also. So it's not that we only take care of father or have respect for the father and we try to hurt or cause difficulties for our other family members. No. So same is like that. So if somebody does not understand this and is trying to worship the Lord in the temple, so that kind of worship is of no use, is like an offering buttered to ashes. So the devotee must know that every living entity, however insignificant, even in ant, God is present. So we should be very careful that no living entity is hurt by our action. Like that. In Kaliva, it is very difficult. Sometimes we are in a situation where we don't come to know, or sometimes we are in a situation where living entities are there, and you want to brush your teeth, and you find in wash basin some ants are there. So we have to be very careful to see that we don't hurt them. Uh, and for that, we have to plan our life in that way. And Srila Prabhupada was asked by temple devotees, Prabhupada, there are so many rats, should we kill them? Prabhupada said, should we kill you? Prabhupada says, keep the temple so clean that the rats don't come. Prabhupada's father, he would know that the rats will come in the night to tear the clothes. He had a cloth shop. So what he would do, he would make khichdi and he would keep that khichdi in between and he would close and go. So the rats can come in the night feeling hungry, instead of eating anything else, they can eat khichdi. Like that. So one has to plan like that. Same way if you are drinking milk with sugar and then you clean your glass in the wash basin, and if the wash basin is not properly cleaned, then most likely because of the sugar, next day you will find ants in the wash basin. So you have to know that thoroughly you have to clean the glass and thoroughly you have to clean the wash basin also. So that the ants they don't come next time. If they come and you happen to hurt them, then you are displeasing the Lord. They are small things, but then we have to know that as devotees we can't hurt. If you can help, but not hurt. Like that. And see now, Prabhupada is saying in modern society, we see slaughterhouses are regularly maintained and supported by certain type of religious people. But without the knowledge of the presence of God, so-called advancement and human civilization, either spiritual or material is to be understood as being in a mode of ignorance. There is a lot of hypocrisy in a modern society. You will find like this our Anant Ambani. His name is Anant Ambani, Anita Ambani, no. The son of Mukesh Ambani. So he has made this Avantar, the place where the animals are kept to be taken care. And recently this footballer came Messi, so he was taken to there. And he is meeting all the animals, photos are being created and all. And society sees, oh, how much love they have. But you ask them, are you vegetarian or non-vegetarian? We are non-vegetarian. On one hand, they are killing animals, on another hand, they are protecting animals. What a hypocrisy like that. There was one lady, she saw one dog was being tied with a pole, and that rope was of a shorter length. So dog was kind of strained. So she sued another person whose dog was, who had died. That how he can cause so much pain to a dog like this. and he had to pay some dollars. In America, you can sue anyone for anything. So he had to pay some dollars. So later on, this reporter, they asked that lady that, ma'am, what do you eat in the morning? So then she said, hot dog. So, so very surprising. One hand they are eating, another hand they are so concerned कि रोग छोटा है उसको दर्द हो गया like that. But our Vedic culture is very special. Vedic culture we find there is a respect as per their position. Prabhupada says dogs are not allowed inside him. Why? Because they have certain body which is not healthy to be inside like that. But they are respected. Vedic culture is not that dogs were not respected. Every species was respected and they were supposed to be at their place. But as per them, how much respect they deserve, they were given respect. So we have to know that every living entity is part and parcel of God, and this vision, and one tries to act as per this vision, is very pleasing to Krishna. Okay, so now from text 23, we'll discuss on Saturday. So till text, I think 27 or 28, the whole section, Lord Kapila talks about respecting living entity. And it's a very beautiful section. Okay, if anyone has any question to ask, they can ask.
Yes, Prabhuji. I have questions. Prabhuji, in the beginning you said that
Echo,
in
echo. I think some more devotee also is there in your room.
now it's proper, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yes, bro.
Prabhuji, you told that in the previous yugas, even the people who were thinking the offenses in his mind, then it was also affecting to him. But in the age of the Kali Yuga, the offenses we do in our mind, so it also will be considered because sometimes we do not like some behavior of some devotee and commit the offenses into his mind, but we do not say to that devotee. So what will be that things for us?
So fortunately in Kalyuga, these offenses are not considered what we do in the mind. But we have to be careful because whatever is in the mind, sometimes or most of the time it comes out. But as far as till they are in the mind, they are not considered. Okay, Vishal.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, the another question.
Mm.
Prabhuji, you told like Srila Prabhupada was very advanced, so he was able to see the internal soul rather than beyond the external behavior. So, Prabhuji, you also told that we should be we should be compassionate to all the living entities as the Krishna lives as Krishna lives in the heart of every living entities, and every living entities lives also in the heart of Krishna. So if we are offending to any living entities, then ultimately we are also offending to Krishna. So my doubt is, Prabhuji, there in our associations there be many people who have bad behaviors, or sometimes they are discussing nonsense about the devotees, about the ISKCONs. So how we should deal with these people, sir?
Yeah, so
Because yeah,
Vishal is asking that we have to respect every living entity, but then we do find some living entities whose behavior is not so good or who may speak or criticize some other devotees. So in that case, this principle is mentioned in the scriptures that we can avoid their association. That's why in scriptures they say about Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttamadhikari. So why this discrimination is there? This discrimination is not for judging devotees, but this discrimination is for choosing our association. So that is not bad. Even Raghunath Goswami, when somebody would come to him and he would try to speak something negative about some other Vaishnava, he would close his eyes, ears, and run away. That for me, he is a devotee, that is enough. I don't want to hear anything else. So choosing association is not bad, but just because we are choosing few, we should not disrespect others. Sometimes what happens, because we don't understand this principle nicely, we choose good association. At the same time, we maintain a disrespectful attitudes for others. That is not understood. Like sometimes some people they may feel, oh, see, my spiritual master is so great. And then when suppose some other spiritual master disciple comes, so in his mind he may have feeling, इनका spiritual master इतना great नहीं है, मेरे spiritual master बहुत great है. तो इस टाइप के फीलिंग्स ये ऑफेंसिव रहते हैं. We can choose, okay, you may like His Holiness राजनाथ महाराज जी की एक लेडी डिसाइपल थी, तो वो फूल बना रही थी. तो वो फूल बनाते बनाते जो है दूसरी जो लेडी डिसाइपल उनको बोल रही थी कि कृष्णा इज सो मर्सीफुल, वी गॉट द बेस्ट लॉर्ड हु इज कृष्णा द सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉडहेड, then we got best acharya Srila Prabhupada, and then we got best spiritual master Radha Swami. ऐसा बोल रही थी. और वो किसको बोल रही थी? जो गिरिराज महाराज जी की डिसाइपल है. तो महाराज पीछे से आ रहे थे. तो महाराज told that for you Raghunath Swami may be best, but for her Giriraj Swami Maharaj is best, and for me Giriraj Maharaj is best. आप देखेंगे जो ग्रेट सोल है दे कैन डू दिस. बट हमारे केस में क्या हम चूज भी करते हैं, जैसे हम लोगों ने ISKCON चूज किया तो वी फील फॉर्चुनेट, लेकिन हम में से कितनों के अंदर ये फीलिंग है कि बाकी सब लोग थोड़े नीचे हैं, राइट? जब किसी और संस्था का हम गुरु को देखते हैं या भक्त को देखते हैं तो क्या लगता है, बेचारे कुछ है ही इनके में, तो शास्त्र होगा नहीं प्रॉपरली, प्रसाद में भी होंगे डाल डाल के खाते होंगे, पता नहीं कहाँ जाएंगे. धाम में तो नहीं जाएंगे, जाएंगे भी तो जहाँ हम जाएंगे वहां तो जाएंगे नहीं लोग. हम तो स्पेशल, हमारे लिए तो लग्जरी रूम बुक हुआ है. देयर इज टेंडेंसी लाइक दिस. सो शास्त्र से प्रिंसिपल हमको समझना जरूरी है कि आप डिस्क्रिमिनेट कर सकते हो, चूज करने के लिए वो गलत नहीं है. और इसके लिए बेस्ट उदाहरण है, आप देखेंगे तो जो हिज होलीनेस राधानाथ महाराज जी का जो जर्नी है उसमें वो कई गुरुओं को मिले, लेकिन किसी भी गुरु को उन्होंने क्रिटिसाइज नहीं किया. किसी भी गुरु को उन्होंने ये नहीं बोला कि अरे ये क्या है, ये मायावादी है, ये गुरु क्या है, ये तो ये है, ये वो है, ये है, ऐसा कुछ. बट ही फेल्ट माय हार्ट इज नॉट सेटिस्फाइड, माय हार्ट इज नॉट सेटिस्फाइड. एंड फाइनली when he met Prabhupada, so then he found that he is a person whom Maharaj felt that he loves Krishna and he can give his life to, right? तो आप देखेंगे ये विजन रखना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. बिल्कुल डिस्क्रिमिनेट नहीं करना वो भी डिसएडवांटेज है. आप डिस्क्रिमिनेट ही नहीं करोगे तो पता चला कि आप जो है मायावादी बन गए या कहीं भी चले गए. करेक्ट. दूसरा है कि डिस्क्रिमिनेट करना लेकिन जो है जजमेंटल हो जाना, वो भी गलत है. तीसरा है डिस्क्रिमिनेट करना और बाकी के प्रति रिस्पेक्टफुल रहना. ये विजन कृष्ण को बहुत पसंद है. आप देखिए गीता में भगवान क्या बता रहे हैं, जो देवी देवताओं की पूजा कर रहे हैं आप उनके फेथ को भी हिलाओ मत. एलिवेट कर सकते हो तो ठीक है, लेकिन हिलाओ मत. हिलाने का मतलब क्या है? ओ तुम किनकी पूजा कर रहे हो? पप्पा मोरिया. अरे क्या है पप्पा मोरिया, ये तो ऐसा है वैसा है, मतलब देवी गॉड के बारे में बुरा बोलना. या कोई जो है इंद्र की पूजा कर रहा है तो आप बोल रहे क्या है, इंद्र तो ये करता है वो करता है फलाना करता है. आप उसके फेथ को नहीं हिला सकते. आप उसको रिस्पेक्ट करो, अरे बहुत अच्छा है आप इंद्र की पूजा करते हैं, और फिर धीरे धीरे करके आप उसको कृष्ण के बारे में बताओ, वो कर सकते हैं. तो ये विजन जब तक हमारा नहीं रहेगा तब तक हम भगवान को प्रसन्न नहीं कर पाएंगे. आप डिस्क्रिमिनेट कीजिए चूज करने के लिए, लेकिन डिस्क्रिमिनेशन की वजह से बाकी के प्रति डिसरिस्पेक्ट हम नहीं ला सकते. हमें रिस्पेक्ट करना है बाकी के प्रति.
यस
अंडरस्टूड.
प्रोजी, थैंक यू प्रोजी. प्रोजी ये सोल्यूशन, इसके लिए मैं बहुत परेशान था. ये प्रोजी बहुत सही आपने बताया. ये चीज मुझे नहीं पता थी कि हमें डिस्क्रिमिनेट करना है बट बाकी को लिए भी रिस्पेक्ट रखना है. मैं क्या करता था, डिस्क्रिमिनेट कर लेता था, बाकी को उतना इग्नोर करता था.
हाँ वो बहुत भक्त लोग इस्कॉन में करते हैं. उनको लगता है कि इस्कॉन बहुत अच्छा है, वो सही है, गुरुपाद जी भी लिखे हैं, लेकिन उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप बाकियों को डिसरिस्पेक्ट करो. बाकियों को रिस्पेक्ट करो फॉर वट एवर दे आर, and we have to know that they are also being guided by the Lord within. ऐसा. ठीक है. रूपा जी का जो एक मिश्रा जी थे तो मायावादी थे, और जब वो बीमार हो गए तो प्रभुपाद जी उनके लिए खाना बना रहे थे। प्रभुपाद जी के शिष्य ने पूछा, प्रभुपाद जी वो तो मायावादी, आप उसके लिए खाना बना रहे हो? प्रभुपाद जी क्या बोलते हैं उनको कि वी आर गुड फ्रेंड्स, बट एज फार एज अवर फिलॉसफी इज कंसर्न वी आर एनिमीज। तो वैदिक कल्चर क्या है, वो एक एस्पेक्ट को ही बाकी पूरी पर्सनैलिटी पे कवर नहीं होने देता है। लाइक सेम पर्सन, यू कैन लव हिम फॉर this reason that he's a part and parcel of God, and you may not uh, love him for other aspect that he's a Mayavadi or because he has a different philosophy. लेकिन हमारा कैसा है, प्रेम करेंगे तो सब कुछ प्रेम करेंगे, और रिजेक्ट करेंगे तो फिर पूरा ही रिजेक्ट करेंगे। तो वैसा नहीं है। वैदिक कल्चर क्या है कि आप देखो, देर आर मेनी ब्रॉड अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट अ पर्सन। तो देखो फिलोसफी तो एक चीज है, कल को चेंज भी तो हो सकती है उसकी फिलोसफी, बट पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ गॉड वो उसका एक इटरनल ट्रूथ है, उसका इटरनल एग्जिस्टेंस है, जिसको हम डिनाई नहीं कर सकते हैं। ऐसा, ठीक है। ओके, ठीक है। सो देन वी लैंड हियर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, एक
हाँ
लास्ट क्वेश्चन था। प्रभु जी, आप एक सिचुएशन बता रहे थे लास्ट में कि प्रभु जी जैसे कोई लिविंग एंटिटीज है, वो बाई एनी रीजन फ्रस्ट्रेटेड है और शाउटिंग कर रहा है, क्राइंग कर रहा है, या फिर कोई एंगर हमारे ऊपर शो कर रहा है, तो इस सिचुएशन में हमें रिएक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर हम रिएक्ट करेंगे तो उसका जो सारो है, मिजरीज है, वो हम और बढ़ा रहे हैं। हमें टॉलरेट करना चाहिए। तो प्रभु जी क्या होता है कि जैसे डिफरेंट डिफरेंट सिचुएशन में मैं अपना बता रहा हूँ कि टॉलरेट ज्यादा नहीं हो पाता, हम फिर रिएक्ट करने लग जाते हैं। तो फिर इस सिचुएशन को कैसे मैनेज करें कि ये थॉट ताकि माइंड में रहे कि वी हैव टू टॉलरेट, एंड कितना टॉलरेट करना चाहिए, किसको रिस्पॉन्ड करना चाहिए, किसको नहीं करना चाहिए, ये चीज।
हाँ, तो ये भी देखिए सिंपल है। दो चीज है, एक तो है कि अगर हम रिएक्ट करते हैं उनकी सफरिंग को बढ़ा रहे हैं, दूसरा शास्त्रों में प्रिंसिपल है कि अगर आप कंप्लेन करते हैं या रिएक्ट करते हैं तो आपका कर्मा बढ़ जाता है, क्योंकि आपको वो शाउट कर रहा है तो हमारा प्रारब्ध हमारे ऊपर आ रहा है। तो हमें डील कैसे करना है, तो आर्टिफिशियली नहीं करना है। आपका अगर क्षमता है टॉलरेट करने का तो उसको टॉलरेट कीजिए, आपका क्षमता नहीं है टॉलरेट करने का तो इस स्थान से चले जाइए, लेकिन रिएक्ट मत कीजिए। आप रिएक्ट करेंगे तो क्या होगा, आपका कर्मा खत्म होने वाला है। जैसे मैंने बताया था ना, गुड कर्मा खत्म होता है एंजॉय करने से, बैड कर्मा खत्म होता है कंप्लेन ना करने से। तो बैड कर्मा आपके पास में आ रहा है, आपने रिएक्ट किया, वो फिर वापस चढ़ गया आपके अकाउंट में, फिर वापस वो सिचुएशन होगी आपके लिए। तो या तो आप टॉलरेट कीजिए या प्लेस को लीव कीजिए, लेकिन रिएक्ट मत कीजिए। और फिर भी मन बहुत डिस्टर्ब हो गया है तो एक ऐसे वैष्णव के पास में जाइए जिसके साथ आपका अच्छा संबंध है, और उसको एक्सप्रेस कीजिए। आप तो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा, उसने ऐसा बोला, मैंने 10 साल से सेवा किया फिर भी उसने ऐसा कमेंट किया, माय हार्ट इज पेनिंग। तो ऐसा करके उस वैष्णव के साथ में पूरा कुछ शेयर कर दीजिए, जिससे आपका हार्ट सॉफ्ट हो जाएगा। ठीक है।
यस प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण, प्रभुपाद की जय।